Hi, everybody. It's Ross Cook from the Center of Balance and Effective Communication. You can find me at Ross Cook Balancing. Tonight, I want to talk to you a little bit about archetypal stories in your life and archetypal intention settings, and how do you go forward in a direction, a collective sort of, but not a laser pointed. Just how do you go forward and get the stories of your life to function together so that you have a congruent basis from which to make decisions, to dream your dreams, to do a lot of things. Let's start with an archetypal story in its own, The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz, there's a lot of wonderful books out there written about the Wizard of Oz and the reason people like the land of Oz and that quest so much, in that it's really an archetypal story. In other words, there are things that each of those characters are doing that are vastly critical to us in our storytelling and our living of our lives. The lion was about courage. Dorothy wanted home. The woodsman needed heart. And the scarecrow was looking for brain. And you can look at conglomerates of people and you can look at yourself and say, do my greatnesses, my intentions, my goals, my dreams, my aspirations all go to one of those things? You can very reasonably say, I want to understand home, and that's where I feel safe and secure, or I want to make intelligent decisions, and that's what functions for me from a plethora of things. Well, it's also the thing that you struggle with, in all likelihood, you struggle with the very same thing you're endeavoring to live through. Okay? So again, what vibrates for you? Are your stories about courage? Are they about home? Are they about brain? Are they about heart? And what does that mean to you? And I invite you to build your own operational definition, your own idea. Read your books, follow your heroes, talk to people that empower you, attend to what your parents were strong at and weak at, and then say, how did I get this jewel and this multifaceted jewel in my life? Of that is what pulls me and pushes me through in the stories, the various stories of my life as I function in many ways. Okay? So examine. Is it courage? Is it home? Is it brain? Is it heart? What does that do for you? Now, let's take some of the great thoughts of great thinkers for a minute. The Buddha said that what we think, we become. And all that we are arises from our thoughts. Let's call a time out there. In other words, all that we are is originated or poured through us and then distilled into thoughts. And that's who we become. And with our thoughts, we make our world. And that's the Buddha. Okay, people have been working at this a long time. So it may be that in my world of home, or in my world of heart, I'm functioning through that. And I want you to realize then that it is your thoughts about that were learned somewhere, and you may need to discard some and bring some others nearer to you. Does that make sense? Good. Couple more thoughts. The goal of life is to make your heart beat consistently with the heartbeat and the rhythm of the universe. And in that, now think, that's a big one. To make in your life, the goal and the intention of your life is to make your rhythm and your functioning and your vibrations match your living, breathing heartbeat, match the beat of the universe, and to match your nature with the nature. Now, someone who wants to be courageous, home, heart, you're going to have different conflicts in your life. And so you're going to have to come to that natural nature differently, but the nature itself is big enough for all of us, and it's one and the same at its source. We cannot change anything until we accept it. That's Carl Jung. We cannot change anything until we accept it. And the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. And that's why we say there's both sides of courage. If I want to be that courageous person, I'm going to have to battle in those areas, and it's also going to bring me my darkest fears about those same concepts. Does that make sense? The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. That's Joseph Campbell. All people receive some light. Now, we may look at the Dalai Lama and we may look at these different people and say these are highly evolved people, or we may see financially successful people or congruent and happy people or whatever. All people receive some light. And it is this light that is always the same light. So no one's given a more high-powered light of spirit. It's all the same. It's how much do you cover it up? How much do you open to it? How much do you learn your story and work your story through it? What are you willing to let go of to make those sources of your stories work for you? Ernest Holmes used to talk about return to a sane simplicity. Learn and return to a sane simplicity. The light is always the same light. It's the same for all of us. I'm Ross Cook. You can find me at Ross Cook Balancing. Enjoy visiting with you. Thanks a lot. And we'll talk again soon. And until we do visit again soon, just live your life slightly differently. And remember, Jomo.